Are you seriously going to eat, you fat blibbity blabbity blob? I mean, some of you might be like,
continual.
why would I want to start this?
Sensitive. She's sensitive.
You are listening to the Tammy Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast, where we share stories that are, you guessed it, unscripted.
That's the thing, this journey doesn't stop.
It doesn't really
right?
end. We have a general sense of the topic each episode, but really the whole point is just to show up and be authentic and let our inner child speak its truth. And I have continued to work through that story of constantly hearing, well, we don't want, got a hot dog on our hands. Yeah, guess what, Mr. Sabatsky, you do. So I'm so excited that you are here, and it is my hope that you hear yourself somewhere in the story so that way you can feel seen and heard as well. So let's start talking. Welcome to the Tammy Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast. I'm coming to you today with a doozy of an episode. If you are in for a good story time, stick around because this one is just a series of things that happened. And as you know, I always find meaning in everything that happens to me, but it actually ends up happening for me. And that's exactly what happened. But yeah, this one was an interesting one that took me on quite the tipsy-turvy path, which all in line with the energy that is out there, and that I am actually recording this on the 16th, which is the last day of the year of the snake. So it feels perfect to talk about it, shed it one last time, because as you are listening to this, hopefully in real time on the 17th, it is officially the energetic new year, the fire horse energy, and I am freaking here for it. And this last weekend felt like that final shedding. Everything that happened this last week felt like it was leading up to this final shedding. So stick with me as I walk you through that. Like I said, makes for a good story time, but that's what this podcast is all about. So hopefully you hear yourself somewhere in my random stories that are never random. But first, I want to mention once again about the nominations for the Best of Madison. And so if you would please take a few seconds after you're listening to this or while you're listening to it, to go ahead on madisonmagazine.com/BOM Best of Madison, scroll down into arts and entertainment, find local podcast, and put your girl Tammy Talks in there. And also while you're in that category, there's a category for videographer. Put my girl Faith Day in there because she used to edit the podcast. I love this woman dearly, and I'm giving her a massive shout out. So go put her in there as well. And then scroll down a little bit further into the health category, and where it says fitness center and specialized fitness center, you can go ahead and put in F45. I would greatly appreciate it. All of the positive energy towards you, which leads me to the next thing that literally just happened before I got on this call, which feels like also very timely in a final shedding. In that I checked my phone right before I hit record just to see like, okay, any messages before I hit record, and then I can really focus. And I got this email. I was like, what? So as you know, on the 100th episode, I did a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. And I said I was going to announce it on the following episode, which I did. But this email I just got said, is the giveaway a scam? There has been no winner announced yet. You stated in the description of the video. So you probably didn't actually watch the episode then. Okay. Uploaded on February 3rd that the winner would be announced the following week, which would have been February 8th and 14th. However, there has still been no announcement of the winner until now. Like, actually, I did, but I said it in the podcast, which would mean that you would actually have to listen to it. And so I knew immediately why that happened, because that has been the story of my life, is feeling like I'm being taken advantage of, and that never feeling fully and truly appreciated in what I do. And to me, this just felt like someone saw, and a lot of people saw, giveaway in the description. So I had all kinds of people commenting and congratulating me on the 100th episode. And I'm like, I have no idea who any of these people are, which is fine. Like, it's out on YouTube. Hopefully more people that I don't know are listening to it and watching it. But I started to get this feeling like, I don't know if these are genuine or if these are AI responses, and that they just put in my description into AI and said, make it sound like I actually listened to it. So I was like, whatever. Hopefully it just means that it upped me in the algorithm somehow, and more people actually got to see it and truly listen to it. But yeah, it lit a little fire in me, because I got a lot of people that were asking about the giveaway, and it makes me really glad that it actually did go to someone who genuinely listens to the podcast, who has taken things away from it, applied it to her own life and her own healing journey. And yeah, I was like, okay, lessons learned that I am not here to serve people that have no interest in this mission and supporting me in this podcast and inner child work. So bless and release. I may rethink giveaways in the future for that reason, but man, they come at you when they want their freebies. And I know so many of you do appreciate what happens here and that I sit down and do this every single week, and I have for almost 2 years straight. And the time that it takes to not only sit down and do this, but to prepare for it. Because me preparing for it is literally living life and healing and going through all these lessons and then trying to translate that onto a podcast, but then all of the editing that goes on behind the scenes and all the social media stuff. There's so much that goes to it. So I'm sorry if I don't have time for someone who's just coming at me for, did I win your giveaway when I've never listened to your podcast ever? So that felt like a final shedding on the year of the snake. So bless and release. I am here for those that genuinely care about me in this mission. So thank you for those of you who genuinely do care. Anyway, moving on. Whew, sweating. A little fired up over here. Oh, I also want to mention that next week, February 23rd through the 28th, is Winter Free Week at F45. So it is free to literally everyone. So those of you that want freebies, come on into F45. It's actually free. I'm sorry. But seriously, please come. Please come check that out. We genuinely want you to come check it out, have the experience, see for yourself, try out the entire week so you get a feel for all of the classes because they are all different. And it's exciting to get some new fresh energy in there for people that, again, want to genuinely check it out and get a good workout and get a sense of what F45 is all about. And especially what F45 Madison West is all about, because I think that we are exceptional in how we show up and the energy we bring and the community that is there. So that is free to everyone. So come on over, say hi. Okay, I am officially off my soapbox. Not really. I got a whole episode yet. Oh, I need to ground myself. I am a little razzle-frazzled here. Okay. So how this all started, and I kind of forgot about this pot and how this all started last week. I think it was probably last weekend when I was working and I was just completely in the zone. And I had the stress adaptogen, but it was like rock hard in the container. And so I was like, I'll just boil some water and I'll try to chuck it apart like an ice pick and then put it in so then I can drink it to help with my stress. And so I can help focus and stay calm and all these things. And so get the water ready and I'm chucking away and I got this big chunk out and I put it in the water. And as soon as I did that, I'm thinking, why did you put it in? You should have waited until the water boiled. I was like, oh, whatever, it's fine. So then I walk into my room, my office, my bedroom, all the things. It's like my living room is also my podcast studio. And I start working. And because I love what I do, I get totally lost in work. And then all of a sudden, the fire alarms are going off. And I look around and I'm thinking, oh man, like who set the fire alarms off? And I was kind of taking my sweet time. I didn't like jump up and rush out like, oh my gosh, fire alarm. Because I figured like, oh, it's someone else. All of a sudden I open the door and I was like, oh shit. There was a thick layer of smoke in my apartment. Please don't tell my apartment complex. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the pot that was boiling. So I run over to the stove. I grab some hot pads and I take it out and I set it out on the patio and I'm opening the patio door and I'm trying to get all the smoke out, trying to turn the fire alarms off. Like it was the worst it's ever been. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So obviously lots of little life lessons learned there, but that's not even the point of the story. So I leave this pot sitting out on the patio literally all week because I'm like, it is completely, if you are watching on YouTube, not salvageable. There is this giant black residue on it from that little bit of that powder that stress adaptogen turned into black molten lava looking things on the bottom of this pot. So I'm thinking like, I'm just going to chuck this pot when I take the garbage out because there's no sense in even trying to save it, right? Okay, so fast forward, I'll come back to that story. Like I said, you got to hang on because it makes sense to share this at the end. So then the week goes on, I'm working, I'm doing the things, and Thursday night comes and I'm super excited because it is the first official kickoff of the Nourished Woman Within. And so all day I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also doing a million other things and get on the call, meet these women, they do their intros, and I'm like feeling all the feels. And we do this meditation to try to reconnect with our body. And I'm loving it. It was great. And then as soon as the call got done, I just sat there. I just sat in stillness and in the silence, and something didn't feel right. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And I sat there some more, and it was really interesting because I could feel my ego just want to grab my phone and start scrolling to distract myself from whatever I was feeling. I'm like, no, stop. And I literally said, no, stop, sit in this. What are you feeling right now? What is coming up for you right now? That was a great call. Women got to meet each other. You just did this reconnection with their body. What's going on, Tammy? And I needed to sit with it. And I couldn't really put my finger on it that night. And I had dreamt about it all night. So I did not sleep well at all. I was just stewing and ruminating and overanalyzing things to the point where it was now showing up in my dreams. And then I woke up on Friday and I still couldn't shake this energy. And then it started to hit me that there were some old patterns of mine that wanted to creep back in. One, my ego is super critical, super hard on me. So I'm like overanalyzing everything about the call and trying to like, okay, well, did they seem engaged? Did they seem to enjoy it? Were you evoking enough emotion? Did they connect with each other? Just all these things about it versus just allowing it to be what it was. And it was really interesting what came up for me because I felt like I don't feel like I was in the right energy for that call. And I was like, oh, that's what it was. I felt like I was being pulled back into my people-pleasing energy versus this feminine, powerful, empowered leader energy. And they may not have noticed, but I noticed, obviously, because I felt it at the end. And so I'm like putting all this in, trying to make sense of it. And it says, when you lead from people-pleasing energy, you override your instincts. You scan for approval. You over-accommodate. You don't fully inhabitate authority. And you leak energy. And then it said your body knows the difference between I'm serving from strength versus I'm performing to be liked. And I was like, oh. And it said, not because you did something wrong, because you weren't fully aligned. And what the discomfort was my system actually recalibrating back to authenticity. And I was like, dang, that's totally what it was. But I was so grateful that I caught it so quickly, because then with that all happening, then this fear of disappointment, like, oh my gosh, you already disappointed them on the first call. You got 4 more months with these women. You've already lost them. And I could have went down that hole and that rabbit hole and that path. And I was like, Tammy, stop. That's not what happened. But this is a really powerful time for you to reclaim that right now and moving forward, making sure that you are in the right energy before you come on to these calls, before you do anything when it comes to creating content for this group and these women. But it also felt like, okay, year of the snake. This is the last little week. This is the last little remnants of it. You caught it on the call, week 1, done, boom, shedding that skin, no more. And I actually went into the group and shared that with them because I have no shame in my healing game at all. I have never sat behind this mic and pretended that I am perfect at this healing journey, that I have it all figured out. I want people to know I am absolutely human over here. I can easily fall back into old habits and things as well too. I just catch them much quicker than I used to. And I caught it the second I ended that call. I was like, ooh, something about that didn't feel quite right. Like I said, they may not have noticed, but I did. And then it was up to me to not hide behind it and be sheepish about it. I sat with it. I felt it. And then was able to recalibrate into how I want to show up moving forward. And I was like, yes. Like, I haven't done all this work to be pulled back into that. No. I'm creating from this healing place, not from this wounded place anymore. So I'm not going to show up on these calls trying to manage everyone's expectations and people please on it. I need to show up as this strong, empowered woman who has done this work, who knows how to lead and knows how to help these women through what they're going through. So that was that. But here's what happened. So that was Friday. I'm starting to come through it a little bit. And then Friday afternoon, I have this whole system with my car keys. It is obviously a very failed system. I am no longer using this system. But because I'm always in and out, I'm, at F45 and I'm back in my apartment, I always have my hands full. I got really tired of putting my keys in my pocket because I never have a free hand. Like, where are my keys? Where are my keys? So I just started wearing this really dorky lanyard that I actually got when I worked the Taste of Madison. So it's got brands on it that I don't even know, whatever. So I wear my little lanyard, and that way I can always just open my door, open a 45. And then I had another set of keys in my car, and I would use those in the ignition. So I was never taking this lanyard off. So when I don't ever take it off, my system works. There's always the key in the car, and I always got my key here until you go to an event and you can't wear a dorky lanyard. And so you take it off, and then you don't put it back in your pocket or put it back on when you leave your car. So as you can guess, yes, I locked my keys in my car on Friday afternoon as soon as I got home from this event. And I am hungry now, and I have less than an hour before Arlo gets off the bus, which means I have to drive to the house to get him, and I can't get into my apartment or into my car. And I just freaking lost it. I'm in my garage and I just lost it. And if there would have been anyone down there, they would have been like, whoa, she's not okay. Because I was swearing and I was just like, I'm effing done. Like, I just take this anymore. It was just like the final straw, right? I'm like, can I catch a freaking break, please? Because I know it's not just that I knocked my keys in my cars and the inconvenience of not having an apartment. It's going to cost me like $100 to get into my car. And not in a place where I can just burn money. So that felt like I'm literally burning money right now and just setting it on fire and be like, yeah, whatever, just because of a careless 2-second moment where I didn't grab my keys out of my car. And I was just like, oh, and I was just done. I would just hit that breaking point. I'm like, I'm so done feeling this way and being in this energy. Like, when can I catch a break? And basically swearing to God and the universe, like, I'm over this. I feel like I have done enough work to prove to you that I trust you. Can you fucking flip this script now, please? I'm done struggling and suffering and all these things. So I have the moment. A guy comes, takes him 2 seconds to get into my car. Here's your $100, whatever. I've just got to shake this off and move on. And then my sister comes into town, which was good. And I can always real talk with her. But as we're real talking, it's real talk. And it's kind of making me look at this reality and how am I going to keep doing what I'm doing and all these things. And it's like, yeah, I don't know until something shifts and breaks. Like, I honestly don't know. And when you're faced with that reality, because sometimes I'm a Sagittarius and I'm an optimist and I have a lot of trust and faith in this journey. I wouldn't be here doing this if I didn't feel like something better is on the other side of this healing and that things are going to turn around and all this stuff. But at some point you look at your reality like, and there's the reality of it as well, which is interesting because I just saw something this morning that talked about what is the real illusion. Is the illusion of our current reality and that this is just how it always is, versus you see the Disney movies and, the prince and the princess and these fairy tales and stuff like that. And we think that is the illusion. Is it? Or have we been so twisted and distorted that we think that our current life is what it is and there just is no other alternative to this beautiful life of abundance and this fairy tale love and career and all of these things? Have we gotten so twisted that that feels like this fairy tale out of reach thing? When really maybe the illusion is what we're living now? I was like, I'll get on board with that. So if this eclipse that is happening today as you were listening to this on February 17th, if that wants to clip and remove any illusion, please remove this one. This one that I'm currently living in. If this is the illusion, have at it. Strip it away. Eclipse it away. Take it. I don't want it. And that was kind of what I woke up with on Sunday morning. I just woke up with this energy like, it wasn't an anxious feeling. It was just this, I don't know, like deep sadness, frustration. I didn't know what it was. And then once the kids went back to their dads that morning, I just kept hearing, go to running water. You need to be by running water. Well, it's winter in Wisconsin. There isn't a lot of running water, a lot of frozen water here. So I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to drive to some river. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time today. And then all of a sudden I remembered this dam that a friend of mine has always talked about. It's like, you got to go see when the fish jump and all this stuff. And I've just never gotten over there. Well, oddly enough, it is called the Wingra Dam. And for those of you that listen to the podcast and know me, you know I basically live on Lake Wingra when I can with my paddleboard. And I bought my paddleboard in 2022. And I have done so much healing out on that lake. So much healing out on that lake on my paddleboard. And so it was so interesting to me that I actually had no idea where the dam was on this lake. And if he wouldn't have told me about it, I would have never even known that it was there. And like I said, this was probably a couple years ago where he's mentioned this, and I've just never gotten over there to see these fish. So I was like, okay, so I type in Google Wingra Dam. There it is. It's on the other side of the lake where then I typically get on. And so I go there, and it's just this little dam, but it was enough to see the water moving, to hear the water moving, to feel the energy of it. And I sat there, and it became so clear of why I needed to be there. First, what I recognize as I'm looking at it is I'm looking out at the lake that I have been on my paddleboard so many times, and just this big mass of water and all the emotion that it has held for me for the last 4 years, and all of the healing that it has helped me. And then I'm watching that spill over and this like rush of energy, right? But then once it came over that wall, then it was smooth, then it was calm. And this whole other level of water that was really peaceful and calm. And I was like, whoa, if that wasn't so symbolic of this healing journey and literally what I had just been feeling, I don't know what was. It was like I have held all of this emotion, all of this water, all of this healing for so many years. And right now we are done. I was just like, I'm done. I've had it. It was that spilling over. We are shifting this energy into calmer waters, into more peaceful waters. And so I just sat there with my eyes closed, and I just listened to this water, and I sat there. And then I found myself asking myself the same question that I asked all of the women during their foundation calls in the Nourished Woman Within. When I had them reconnect with their inner child, and I asked them, what does your inner child want me to hear today? And it was so clear when she said, I don't want to hurt anymore. And I just lost it. I hate saying that. I didn't lose it. I felt it. Because earlier that morning, when I woke up with all those feelings of like, it was this feeling of like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm not saying that in a dangerous tone, because I knew that's not what it was. But that's what was coming through. It was, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to suffer and struggle and feel this pain anymore. And then I recognized when I got down there that's what it was, is I don't want to feel this pain anymore. I don't want to come from this place anymore. And so when I heard it from her, it just absolutely confirmed that message. It was so clear that we were both on the same page. Like, this isn't the energy we want to come from anymore. Is pain and hurt and wounded energy. But there's just always this deep level of sadness and always trying to figure out the lessons and all of these things. It was just like, we just want to be done. I want to be done hurting, and that it's time for this new chapter. And as soon as I did that and felt that with her, I just found myself getting up, and because it was 50 degrees in Wisconsin on February 15th, I had my little blanket with me. And so I went and laid in the grass, and I just laid there and let the sun warm me. And I just found myself kind of curled up, and I'm imagining all of these old stories, all of these old roles, all of the old people pleasing, all of the hurt, the betrayal, wounds, whatever, just feeling that going into the ground, like they were finally being laid to rest, and that this was the final burial. And if I just laid there, that Mother Nature would just pull that out and we could bury it once and for all, but in a loving and grateful way. Like, thank you for doing what you did to help us get here and that we needed. And in many ways, that's what helped us get here, right? It helped us survive. And so that's why we can't always be mad at our ego for the things that it has done, because oftentimes not oftentimes, all the times, it's trying to get your needs met. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to help you survive. And it'll do it by any means necessary. And sometimes at the cost of abandoning your inner child, or at the cost of weight gain or the cost of pain, the cost of losing your job, the cost of whatever, the extremes that you will go to try to meet those needs can be extreme. And we're seeing that all over the world with what's happening right now. As if all of these people actually tended to their inner child, we wouldn't be hurting one another like we are. And I just felt that energy is such a loving, beautiful way to finally lay them to rest. Like, we no longer need to come from this energy anymore. You have served your purpose. I thank you. Bless and release. But it is time to lay these to rest, to bury these old wounds in a loving and grateful way. And then when I felt like that was done, my energy just shifted and I sat up and I just soaked up the sun and I just let that sun fill me up and my inner child, and just feeling that warmth, feeling that love, feeling that light. I was like, okay, this is the energy we are going to move into in this next energetic new year. Like, this was the final shedding. We are literally laying down that last final skin of that snake. We laid it down. We laid on the ground, literally, and shed that final skin. So coming into this energy, just feeling like, okay, now it's about anchoring into that and staying in that, right? Because as you all know, if you've been listening and you've witnessed it yourself on your journey, it's so easy to get pulled back. But it was like, no, I need that reminder, that physical reminder that we are not going back. We have buried that part of us. I'm bringing the lessons and the love and the learning with me and those old versions of me, but I've left the pain and the hurt and that kind of energy behind, because I love all of the versions of me that got me here. So it's not like I'm abandoning them. I'm bringing them with because they taught me so much, but it's the energy of it, the pain, the hurt, the sadness that needed to be left behind. And so it was a really, really beautiful moment out there. And I knew exactly why I was being called to that exact spot. And as I was sharing the post on social media, I found the song by Sam Smith, was lay down next to you and I'll take care of you. And it made me think of my inner child. Like, I got you, girl. I got you. I will lay here with you. I will take care of you. And I will make sure that this chapter moving forward is one from love and abundance and peace and joy and gratitude and all of things. Not that we can never feel any of those other emotions, sadness or pain or anger again. We certainly can, but that's not going to be the foundation. And that we can choose every single day the energy that we want to come from, how we want to show up, and be really, really intentional about that. Just like I talked about on that call with the women. And so I want you to think about that as well within your life. When you wake up and you start your day, how are you starting your day? What is your energy like? Are we already in a negative energy? Like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to work. We're just dreading the day. I mean, can we leave that energy behind? What needs to happen in order to lay that down to rest? Those parts of you that sacrifice your happiness and joy for a paycheck, for achievement, for status, whatever it is. What is it that you need to operate from a place of true joy and happiness and trust and faith and all of those things? And I know that can be scary because that requires a lot of change, right? And I'm just so far into my healing journey, like there's no backing out now. Like I just, hell no. And so as much as I want to just be like, I'm just done, I'm done. And I'm saying that, God and the universe are like, girl, no, you're not. You know, you're not. You have put way too much time and energy into your healing journey to back out now and go back to your 3D life. Nice try. And I know that, but sometimes I just need to throw my little tantrum. And that's exactly what I did in the garage that day. My inner child threw a tantrum because she was pissed. She was fed up. But I needed that to just finally kind of shake that final skin. And then I was able to release that as I'm literally laying on the ground. And so coming into this energetic new year, it's so significant. And I just hope that all of you listening can just surrender, because sometimes you don't know what to do. You might know that things need to change, but you don't know where to start, how it's going to look. And that right there can keep you stuck in those same patterns over and over, year after year. But if there's anything that I can instill in you, is that the how isn't up to you. You just have to trust enough to surrender and say, whatever is no longer serving me, you can have it, take it. Because I know that if you do and something in my life changes, you're going to replace it with something even better. And this is where we have to lean into our faith and trust even more, because I know my audience, and I know that you are either deeply faithful in God, the universe, higher power, whatever it is that you resonate to. I don't think you'd be watching if you didn't believe in something. And so that surrender is like that little test of like, okay, you say you believe in me, you say you have faith. Are you able to surrender this control, this safety, and let me show you how good it can actually get? Like I said, I'm just at this point where with the eclipse, like, whatever, take it. Like, I don't know how much more you can do to me, how much more could change in my life, how much more betrayal, sadness, grief, ghosting, all the things that have happened. Like, whatever, just go ahead. I'm not resisting. I'm not going to put up a fight, because we talked so many times about that tower and that we are resisting that tower falling because we know that it would require change and would be like mass destruction to our life and that we would have to rebuild. And that seems scary. So we try to hold it up as long as we can. And I've just reached a point where it's like, let it all come down. I mean, it already has. Let's be honest. So I was like, okay, what else is left? What else is left? Because I'm here for it. And it in a sense, it feels like you have no power in that place, but it also, it opens you up to all the opportunity and all of the possibility. And there's so much fear of change for people, or instability. And again, it all comes back to childhood. So that thing that you are afraid to do, the thing that you are holding on to, is likely linked right back to your childhood and a wound that is asking to be healed. And so if it's, oh, I really want to do this thing, but I'm afraid to be seen, guess what? That's probably exactly what your inner child needs you to heal. If it's something around money and scarcity, yep, probably something that happened in your childhood and why you have to hold on and have this sense of stability and security, which we all need and like, right? But there's something about that if we can look at those things that we are having a hard time releasing, it's probably the exact thing that is asking of you to be healed and to look at and to connect with your inner child about. And so I encourage you, if you are in that place where you are trying to resist what this energy is trying to do for you, it's trying to do this for you. The fire horse energy, the eclipse, the new moon, all of this happening on the 17th. It could completely change the trajectory of your life if you let it. And maybe deep down, that's what you've always known that you've needed, but you've resisted it because of the fear of change, the fear of hurting people, the fear of being a burden. Whatever that fear is, address it now. And ask God and the universe for help, for support, for signs, for anything to reassure you. You can also ask for that. Like, can you throw me a sign? And so many of you are getting them. It's like, you need a sign of your sign. You don't. I was very much that person. And even now, sometimes when I do ask for a sign, I'm like, I know you might not give it to me because I know that I need to trust my intuition now. And so you're not going to give it to me anymore. So when it does, I'm like, thank you. Because it was fun. It was fun to find the signs before. Now it's just like kind of left me out on my own. Like, you've graduated and now it's time for you to just trust yourself and your inner knowing and what you truly feel is meant for you and aligned for you. Because whatever that is, maybe the timing isn't quite right yet and that thing is still orbiting around you. Which brings me back to the pot, and then I will wrap this up. Because I thought this pot was destroyed, right? I was literally going to chuck it with my garbage when it came time. I let it sit out there for a week because I was just like, whatever. It's a lost cause. No sense of trying to scrub this thing. I ain't got that kind of time or energy. I'm just going to chuck the pot and throw it away. But then last night, after all of this happened, with the lake and laying down and my inner child and saying she doesn't hurt anymore, I go out to get this pot because I'm going to take the garbage out. And I look at it and I touch it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it came out. I mean, I have washed it since. It just had a little residue rim around it, but this literally just popped out. It completely popped out. I thought this thing was absolute garbage. And what's so cool about it, and I love the symbolism of this. It's kind of crackly, so it kind of looks like the moon. There's like all these little craters and things, but when you flip it over, it's like glass and it's so smooth. And man, it's just sometimes things just need to cool down. Sometimes we need to let things sit. We need to go through our own journey and our own process so that way we can come back and actually see something for what it is. And that maybe this whole time it wasn't ruined. Our ego just wants to quickly discard whatever seems broken or ruined, right? But sometimes when you let things cool and sit and just give it space, give yourself space, you can come back with more wisdom and see things clearly. And that actually nothing was ruined and that maybe something beautiful could come out of it. And granted, I know this is my farm kid in me like, oh, I could turn this into something. I could turn this into some kind of cool art. And I might, because like I said, it looks like the moon and that it actually turned into be this beautiful thing. And I don't know, something about it just made me pause, because with the snake energy and the intensity and the shittiness that was this last year, I think I'm so quick to just shut it all down and close it all and be like, I'm done with this chapter. And that's basically what this episode has been, right? Like, I'm done. I'm frustrated. I don't want to feel it anymore. I'm burying these things. And when that happened last night, I was like, hold up, just hold up. Maybe some things that have felt destroyed, burned, ruined actually aren't, and that you just needed to walk away for a little bit. Maybe you needed to clear your head. Maybe you needed to get to this place on your healing journey where you could come back and revisit something and actually see that it wasn't ruined after all. And that maybe something beautiful could come from it. Because yeah, as a farm kid, I can absolutely turn that into something and make it a cool piece of art. As the symbolism for all of this. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that to come around to that. Honestly, I hadn't even thought of that until just now, that maybe that's what that was for, is you don't have to throw everything away. You don't have to bury everything. There are some things that are still worth looking at, still worth revisiting. Who knows? So, as you know, stay tuned. We'll see what that is. But for now, I've got a pot that is now functioning again, and I've got this cool moon-crusted crater thing. And again, just the symbolism of this alone. I know, sorry for you that are listening and you can't see this, but if I held this up, you could kind of see the texture of it and the craters of it. And so you see one side, right? But then when you flip it over and you see how smooth that is not everything is as it appears. And there's always duality, right? There's two sides to everything. So on that note, I don't know what this episode was or is, but it is what it is. So thank you for pressing play as always and riding along on this. I appreciate all of you and being on this journey with me, and I'm excited to start this energetic new year. Oh, I hope you are feeling it as well. And please comment if you have felt the shifts as well, what the year of the snake was like for you, what you're excited about in this next energetic new year, and declare it. Comment below, set your intention on what it is that you want out of this new year. Because this is truly leading into the new year. We got the spring equinox coming up when things are starting to come alive, and that's when that energy really, really shifts. So utilize that. Utilize this time now and get really clear so you can get up on that fire horse and giddy up and not be dragged by it. You absolutely are worthy of doing whatever sets your soul on fire. And why not be on a fire horse while you're doing it? So on that note, thank you again, as always. And please, please, please do something that brings your inner child joy. Because even if you aren't in a place in your life where you wake up and you're loving life and the birds are singing, and if you could just even open the curtains and just take in the sunrise every morning, or just the sunshine every morning, or just take that fresh breath, like that alone can let your inner child know that today can be a great day because we say so. And I'm here with you. I got you. But just do one thing today, every day this week, for the rest of your life. But start with today. That makes your inner child feel excited about life again. Excited about your hopes, your dreams, whatever it is, but just excited for the day. What can you do to get excited about today? And if you want to comment below and declare it, awesome. I will help you celebrate that and put all the energy towards it. Until next week, folks, thanks again for pressing play. I appreciate your energy as always. Bye.